I want you to pay close attention to what I'm going to share with you over the next few minutes, because by the end of this video, I'll also give you a conservative XRP price prediction for 2025. On top of that, what's happening right now in the broader market with Donald Trump making a trade deal between America and the UK, announcing the biggest tax cuts coming for the middle and the working class, an extremely bullish crypto bill that is being voted on today, a letter from the Office of the Comptroller of Currency for banks that is going to completely change the game for onboarding retail investors. Also, what Stripe just added to their platform that is going to change the game for their business. On top of that, what's happening with the Bitcoin stock to flow model, the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart with Bitcoin breaking $100,000 again, compared back to the past. We're also going to break down Total 2, which is a crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and expectations moving forward. And following Bitcoin's breakout, one altcoin that I'm keeping on my watch list right now that I actually opened a long for, and right now I'm about $3,000 in profit. And some of the top altcoin picks that our research team has spotted that are poised to see the largest liquidity flows by the end of this cycle. So if you guys like making money online, if you like crypto, then comment 777. If you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So in light of the breakout with the markets, with everything up anywhere from 10 to 20% in the altcoin market, we're going to kick this video off with a quick giveaway. We're giving away $100 worth of XRP. All you need to do to be entered in to win is follow us on Twitter or X at BullRunnersHQ. You'll see a pin post, and you simply like the pin post, comment XRP on the post, and then sign up for Blowfin using our affiliate link through the description below. You can actually get a 10% deposit bonus up to 50K running through the end of July if you go through our link. And yes, we do earn a small percentage of the trading fees, but that help support value-based videos like this if you use our link. And winners will be announced in our daily email newsletter on Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can simply click the link right here, click the big orange button on the page, enter your best email address, and you'll be instantly subscribed so you can see if you won. Plus, you'll get access to our brand new book called Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire. Because to make your first $1 million in crypto, it's possible. You just need to understand the secrets and you need to have a proven strategies. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to make any money in crypto because obviously you're a very intelligent human being. I don't have to sit here and insult your intelligence. You know that it takes work and actual skill development to make money in crypto, but that's what we teach you and that's what you're going to get access to. So with that being said, check that out. Links will be below. Let's dive right into the video. So about 16 hours ago, Trump said that there's a big press conference coming at 10 a.m. today concerning a major trade deal with representatives of a big and highly respected country. And here's that announcement.
This morning, I'm thrilled to announce that we have reached a breakthrough trade deal with the United Kingdom, incredible country. Today is a victory day for World War II. We won the war together exactly 80 years ago, so there could be no more perfect morning to reach this historic agreement. And it's beautiful weather out, I will tell you that, Keir. Beautiful weather. It's so perfect outside. But it's really, in particular, the agreement with one of our closest and most cherished allies. And we're so happy that that's the way it worked out. Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity and fairness is an essential and vital principle of international trade. The deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for American exports, especially in agriculture, dramatically increasing access for American beef, ethanol, and virtually all of the products produced by our great farmers. And our Secretary, as you know, of Agriculture is here. Brooke, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that. They'll also be fast-tracking American goods through their customs process, so our exports go to a very, very quick form of approval, and there won't be any red tape. Things are going to move very quickly both ways. The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries, and we'll also receive new market access for American chemicals, machinery, and many other industrial products that weren't allowed, and they'll end up getting products that they'll be able to price, and if they like them better and we make great products, they'll be buying those products, but they were not available in the UK. Furthermore, in a historic step, the deal includes plans that will bring the United Kingdom into the economic security alignment with the United States. That's the first of its kind. So we have a big economic security blanket, and that's very important. And we feel very, very comfortable with that because it's been a great ally, truly one of our great allies. I mean, a lot of people say our greatest ally. I don't want to insult people by saying that, but I can say it's certainly one of our greatest.
And on top of that, Trump announced yesterday that they're going to be doing no tax on tips, no tax on senior Social Security, and no tax on overtime, and much more. It'll be the biggest tax cut for middle and working class Americans by far, and it is time for Main Street to win. And with this announcement, Bitcoin erupted from 93K upwards of $101,000. So this is actually extremely good news that the negative price action from the tariff announcements are over, and with the 90-day pause, now it's negotiation time. And so when we look at Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart, we can see we ended this downtrend since the 20th of January, even the beginning of December to the 9th of April. And if we bring up the MACD and the relative strength index and compare it back to the past on top of Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, and I broke this down in a previous video about 8 days ago in expectations from the divergence that was playing out on the chart. And this is what I said. Bitcoin has broken out since the 20th of April from, $84,000, and it's sitting at $94,000. We saw a breakout like this in the past after Bitcoin had pulled back drastically from about $64,000 down here to $29,000. In one of my previous videos, I showed you guys the different types of divergences. For example, on this one right here, we can see a lower low on the price chart on the right-hand side of the screen back here by July of 2021, but yet the relative strength index was making a higher low, which is simply a regular bullish divergence and a reversal pattern where the price rebounds off of the lower low and inevitably makes a trend reversal. And that's what we're starting to see right now for Bitcoin on the left-hand side of the screen, because the price chart right here from the 28th of February made a lower low on the 12th of March and then the lowest low on the 7th of April. And then sure enough, if you look at the relative strength index at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, the 26th of February, we were below 30 on the RSI, and then we put in a higher low by the 7th of April while the price chart put in a lower low. Sure enough, Bitcoin rebounds off of $75,000 and breaks out to the upside. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, we can see Bitcoin was putting in higher highs right here on the price chart until about the 7th of September, until this major bull flag was formed, where Bitcoin sold off from $53,000 down to $40,000, a 24% correction. And so if we bring up the stochastic RSI, also the relative strength index for Confluence here, we can see a regular bearish divergence because the price chart was making higher highs, but yet the key indicators were making lower highs, such as the stochastic RSI. We can see this bearish cross right here at the end of July of 2021 when Bitcoin pulled back from $42,000 to $37,000. We put in a higher low than the previous low on the 21st of July. We rebounded off of that, and then we put in a higher high, but yet the stochastic RSI put in a lower high, as you can see right here in the middle of the screen. While the price chart was in an uptrend, forming higher highs and higher lows, the stochastic RSI was in a downtrend. Now, even for the relative strength index, we just continuously put in lower highs all the way until the 5th of September when Bitcoin topped out and then saw that 20+% correction. The RSI got rejected from about 67, came all the way down to 35, and then Bitcoin broke out higher. So the real key to understand here, what you must do right now is pay very close attention to what I'm about to share with you, because it's about to happen again. And we're seeing it play out again. On the right-hand side of the screen, you guys can see the price chart is putting in a higher high right now, whereas the stochastic RSI is actually rallying back up from 30, and it's sitting at 71 for the K line, 47 for the D line. So I would expect on the next pullback for Bitcoin to be a lower high. But what's interesting is the relative strength index is actually putting in a little bit of a higher high at about 72 right now. Similar to what we saw back here on the 30th of July when the relative strength index topped out at 74. Saw that pull back to 56 and then started to put in lower highs from there, whereas the stochastic RSI on the left-hand side of the screen put in lower highs up until the 5th and 6th of September when Bitcoin experienced that 20% pullback. So at some point, I still do expect Bitcoin to pull back and that to affect the altcoin market. And I'll get into XRP in a little bit, hang tight, but we need to talk about Bitcoin first. And the reason why is because Bitcoin is obviously the leader of the markets. If Bitcoin doesn't break out, XRP isn't breaking out, and the rest of the crypto market isn't breaking out. And as much as you want to believe that XRP is going to untether from Bitcoin, that's not the way that it's worked this bull run cycle. Sure, there's moments moments where XRP has exploded, the main one being in November when the SEC dropped their appeal. Lots of liquidity flowed into XRP rapidly. But I'll explain what's going on in this range right now for XRP based on Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator. But first, where I believe we are right now for Bitcoin is at some phase during this breakout right here that we saw back from July of 2021 until September of 2021. So this could actually extend higher. Yes, it could even extend past the all-time high for Bitcoin. Because if we look back to the past, just because we're seeing some similarities here doesn't mean it needs to play out identical. Because as you can even see during this yellow phase in the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, there are some major differences here. So the chart doesn't look exactly the same. So I wouldn't expect the green phase for the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator to look the exact same as the past. Meaning if we see Bitcoin's price chart just continuously put in higher highs and higher lows, leading us into an all-time high, that could still be a bearish divergence on the stochastic RSI on the way up. And also it could lead us to a bearish divergence on the relative strength index on the way up before the next major, 20 to 30% correction. But at some point when Bitcoin does experience that first major pullback that's larger than 5 or 10%, and we see the stochastic RSI reset all the way down here below 20 for both the K line and the D line, on top of that, the relative strength index resetting somewhere closer to 30, similar to what happened back here on the 21st of September. You guys can see when Bitcoin pulled back from $53,000 back down to $39,000, look at what happened to the stochastic RSI. We reset all the way down here at like 1 for the K line, the D line, before we experience the next recovery to the all-time high. So the best point to enter into the markets was on that major pullback right there, because if you were buying on the way up, sure, it seemed exciting to jump into Bitcoin when all the bullish news was taking place back in the summer of 2021. But had you have waited, you could have accumulated $39,000 in September when you looked at the key indicators on the daily chart and even on the weekly chart as well too for Confluence. So right now with the relative strength index at 72, with the stochastic RSI experiencing a bounce, I would expect there to be a lower high in for the stochastic RSI and the relative strength index to top out here soon above 70, 80, or even potentially 90 before pulling back. Now, what's interesting there is on the left-hand side of the screen, when we saw the RSI pop above 70, that's when Bitcoin rallied up here to about $42,000 before experiencing this pullback to 37 and then rallying all the way up here to $53,000. So this breakout for Bitcoin right now, just from where we are on the relative strength index, is more comparable to where we were at the end of July, which is a sign that Bitcoin could actually march even higher in this divergence. We just need to keep a close eye on these indicators over the next few weeks. So if Bitcoin pulls back now, the support to watch is around $93,000. If that happens and the stochastic RSI pulls all the way back down below 20 and the relative strength index comes closer to 50, then that's where I would expect the next bounce for Bitcoin. So as difficult as it is to predict the short term, the long term, we have been spot on this entire bull run because of the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow model. And when you look at this model right here, in terms of the days of the next halving, it measures from like red to dark purple. I've shown you this in so many different videos where right now on this model, it's a little bit different than this indicator right here because the color phase is different. It shows that we are in yellow, which is roughly, 1,000 to 1,200 days until the next halving. And the stock to flow line is at about $358,000. So Bitcoin has a lot of ground to make it back up to where this plateau is on the stock to flow model. And if Bitcoin makes it up to there by the end of this bull run cycle, I would honestly be shocked. My price prediction for Bitcoin this bull run cycle is around $190,000. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it goes above that, but that's my conservative price prediction. And I'll share with you what that would mean for XRP here in a little bit for this bull run cycle by the end of this year. But the reason why so many people are subscribed to our channel and continue to watch these videos, and I appreciate you guys for watching them, even though we're not right all of the time in the short term, we have been right so far this bull run cycle because of this. When we transition from yellow to light green, that's when we see the biggest explosion for Bitcoin to the all-time high. In the last bull run cycle, we rallied above the stock to flow line up to that double top before the bear market kicked in after light green. In the cycle before then, you can see when we transitioned from yellow to light green, we exploded past the stock to flow line. Even the cycle before that one, going all the way back to 2013, transitioning from yellow to light green, we exploded above the stock to flow line. So the real question is not if Bitcoin sees a breakout the rest of this year, just based on the stock to flow model, it's how high does Bitcoin go before we see the bear market kick in. Because last bull run cycle, Bitcoin bounced from $29,000 and just barely breached above the high during the yellow phase at 64K. It only went up to looks like $69,000 on Bitstamp here. Every single exchange has a little bit different of a price for Bitcoin, but it was just barely past the high of April all the way here in November. So if we see a move to the upside for Bitcoin past $110,000 a lot faster over the next few months before September, then Bitcoin could do a lot better than most people think. Because as I just showed you guys in this model right here, we just transitioned from orange to yellow And this yellow phase still has some time to play out before we transition to light green, and we're still below the stock to flow line that's at $362,000. So it has a lot of room to catch up. In certain bills like this one, the Genius Act that's set to be voted on today, well, passage of this would be bullish for stablecoin clarity, including RLUSD and the XRP ecosystem, because the Genius Act is a first step towards bringing digital assets into our financial system and promoting American leadership in financial innovation. And as you guys can see right here, the Senate Majority Leader representing South Dakota is now advocating for this bill.
Mr. President, it's been well over a decade since the term cryptocurrency entered our lexicon. Like many innovations, cryptocurrencies were at first seen as a novelty, something used by few and understood by even fewer. But that changed quickly. More people began using and purchasing digital assets. Innovation took place, and crypto demonstrated its staying power. Mr. President, stable coins are an important part of the crypto ecosystem. Many digital asset advocates believe in holding Bitcoin given its price fluctuations and growth in value over the last several years. Stable coins, however, have a value that's pegged to an asset, usually the US dollar. They offer the speed and security of the blockchain with the stability and usability of a dollar bill. And they're a business and consumer-friendly way of making payments. Mr. President, hundreds of billions of dollars of stable coins are in circulation today. The vast majority are dollar-denominated. But in the United States, stablecoins have operated in a legal gray zone. Stablecoin issuers trying to follow the rules can't be sure what rules to follow. The Biden administration chose to regulate crypto companies by arbitrary enforcement measures. Regulators filed numerous lawsuits against crypto firms. And these hostile actions led a number of U.S.-based companies to consider moving out of the United States altogether. Mr. President, I think we all agree the United States should be the world's leader in financial innovation. Stable coins should be made in the USA, but we can't lead in innovation if there's no clarity for the innovators. The Genius Act provides that clarity. It's the first step in bringing digital assets into our financial system by setting a clear framework for stable coins. To be clear, Americans are already using stable coins and will continue to use them with or without this legislation. What this bill does is establish a framework that protects consumers and safeguards national security while promoting that innovation right here in the United States.
So with this act being introduced, it's only a matter of time before more bills like this are passed. We see companies like Stripe introducing stablecoin financial accounts where you can hold a stablecoin balance, send and receive funds with fiat and crypto rails accessible from 101 countries. So you can see right here, USDC, they currently have in the example right here. I would assume they would add USDT. I would assume Ripple would get their stablecoin listed on here as well too on Stripe. Especially with the ISO standard going live by November at the end of this year, we're going to see all the major payment provider companies, guys, add stablecoins, which is extremely bullish for crypto because although Stripe isn't a bank, they're a payment processing company that connects with the majority of banks globally. Well, look at this. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency confirms national banks can now buy and sell crypto assets for customers and outsource custody and execution with proper risk controls. So we're about to see the largest banks globally and in the United States start offering crypto to retail clients. On top of that, payment processing companies like Stripe, you even have Visa, MasterCard, adding stablecoins to their platform. And if we look at Tether's market cap dominance here, paired up with the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, we just transitioned from yellow to light green. And you guys can see what happened during the first phase of, light green. We experienced a little bit of a pullback, which arguably happened during the yellow phase right here. And we're now going through the expansion phase in Tether's market cap where more money starts flowing into stablecoins. So in my opinion, we're going to see an explosion in Tether's market cap along with USDT, along with a Ripple stablecoin. And anytime that happens, we usually see an expansion in the crypto market. And so if we look at total twos chart excluding Bitcoin compared back to the past, I brought this up in a previous video and I talked about how when we transitioned from yellow to light green, we were still in this downtrend for the entire altcoin market, bouncing off of this zone of support once, 2, 3 times before we saw an eruption to the upside for the altcoin market. And if we look on the right hand side of the screen, we've just bounced off of it one time. So it's still not out of a possibility for the altcoin market to pull back within this range. But if we see a break of this level that we're at right now, the next resistance is at roughly $1.3 trillion. If we march up in this level right here, well, then it's more comparable to what we went through right here after July of 2021 when the market broke out to September of 2021. We just formed higher highs, higher lows, and there was was just volatility on the way up without a real serious pullback until we breached just barely above the previous high. Then we saw that pullback with Bitcoin right here, and the altcoin market pulled back about 29%. So at some point there will be a steeper pullback of 20 to 30%. The real question is, when does that take place? Because if we look at the stochastic RSI, we see the K line's at 40, the D line's at 22. Even with this breakout, we've seen the stochastic RSI reset from 100, but it's still not below 20 for both the K line and the D line. The relative strength index is at 68, and we broke out of this range that we were at below 50 during that pullback since the beginning of February until the 22nd of April. Look on the left-hand side of the screen. From the 18th of May until roughly the 23rd of July, we were below 50. While the altcoin market was beneath $1 trillion, we're now breaking out above 50, and the altcoin market is still below the major resistance at $1.3 trillion. That is a major level to watch because it held up as support from the 20th of December until the 2nd of February and acted as resistance here all the way until the beginning of March. That's a very strong zone of resistance right there. And as you guys can see, last bull run, it was a similar level right here as well too that was resistance that acted as support when Total 2 flipped it by the middle of August right here. We see multiple points of contact as a strong zone of support. And so the MACD line is currently above 0. We have seen momentum shift on the histogram a little bit, but we saw something similar around here around August of 2021, a little bit of a shift on the histogram, but yet the MACD line in blue stayed above the signal line. Currently, the MACD line is above the signal line right now. So even with the short-term momentum shift on the histogram, we could see this be a fake out in the MACD line to reverse back to the upside, while the relative strength index tops out somewhere above 70, and then for us to start some type of bearish divergence with lower highs on the relative strength index, while Total 2 just puts in higher highs and higher lows, marching up closer to the $1.3 trillion resistance, putting in lower highs for the stochastic RSI as well too. Because as you guys can see, we went all the way upwards of 100 back here on the 25th for April. We're not passing 100 on the stochastic RSI. If anything, we'd come back up to it or underneath it for a lower high. So this is the start of a bearish divergence on the daily chart for Total 2, which, like I showed you guys in this video right here, is a series of higher highs on the price chart, but lower highs on these key indicators like the relative strength index and the stochastic RSI. And so if we don't see a pullback right now back within $850 billion, which would be like a 20% pullback, then that's what I would just expect is the price chart to continuously make higher highs until we see a bigger pullback in Bitcoin. And look at what's happening with Ethereum too on the price chart. So I opened up a long on Ethereum, and currently it's a little over $3,000 in profit because of what's happening on the Bitcoin price chart right now. As you guys can see, Bitcoin has been in this downtrend since the end of January, even since December, just forming lower highs and lower lows. Same thing for Ethereum. Ethereum's been pulling back since December in this bearish channel. And just recently, we saw Ethereum break out of this descending resistance at the end of April and consolidate right here at roughly $1,800 to $1,900. It's similar to what happened for Bitcoin right here between the 12th of April until the 21st of April, where Bitcoin broke above this descending resistance and consolidated for a little bit, and then broke out back above this zone of resistance and holds it as support. So where that would be for Ethereum is roughly around $2,300. And so if Ethereum pushes above this range and holds it as support, then Ethereum could experience more bullish price action to the upside, because Ethereum, guys, has been bleeding out for a while now, for over 122 days. Even longer than that, since the 10th of March, Ethereum has not passed that high of roughly $4,100-ish. So I think a lot of people are still counting Ethereum out, but I'm most likely just going to do a trailing stop on this position right here. So that simply means I moved my stop loss up as Ethereum continues to climb. Worst case scenario on this trade is I break even on it if Ethereum pulls back to $1,852. So Ethereum would have to pull all the way back here in order for me to break even on this trade. And if I want to move the stop loss, I just simply drag it all the way up here. Now, if Bitcoin experiences a major pullback and just reverses back to the downside, then, Ethereum might pull back in the short term and my trade might close out at a break even, worst case scenario. Or I just continue to ride this trade up, moving my stop loss up as Ethereum makes higher highs and higher lows alongside Bitcoin the next few weeks. But here's the problem. Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. In full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it. So when you guys get started through the link below, you can even demo trade as well too. When you just hover over futures, you click on demo trading, you could essentially trade with like monopoly money until you get a better understanding of how to set your take profits and your stop losses. And then if you're ready to dive in and trade on your own, you go to futures trading or you hover over copy trading and you can click leaderboard, all traders. And then you just simply find the traders with the highest ROI. You could even click ROI, assets under management as well too, max drawdown. But the best thing that you guys can do, in my opinion, is actually learn how to trade yourself. And the best way to do that is through the link below. We actually just launched our technical analysis essentials course inside of Altcoin Pro University. You click on the classroom right here. There's 100+ expert curated classes in here, but you can just scroll down. If you want to go right into the technical analysis essentials, you click this right here. It'll open up with 28+ videos teaching you everything that you need to know to set the foundations for your trading strategy, to get your trading view account, adding different cryptos to your watch list, how to understand trend lines, support and resistances, price ranges, candlesticks, indicators, you name it. You guys are gonna absolutely love this course. And if you don't, then we have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So it's only $97 a month or $970 a year. You pay as you go, no contract, no commitment. So far, we have 951 people. And if you go on trustpilot.com and you just search Altcoin Pro, you'll see we have 4.5 out of 5 stars in terms of reviews. And you guys can go check out the reviews for yourself. The majority of them are 5 stars, 93% of them. And we didn't pay anybody to make these reviews. These are our customers that are actually getting value out of it. And like I said, if you're not happy for whatever reason, we have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So there's no risk here. We want to help you guys get results by educating yourself, because when you can properly educate yourself, like these members who are leaving us 5-star reviews about the education, the community, the training, the support, then you could become a better trader and investor. Now, for me personally, I'm mostly a long-term macro investor and I just day trade for fun. But the cool thing about Blowfin is that 10% deposit bonus. So if you guys deposit 50K and you plan on trading with that anyways, well, then you'll get $5,000 back. So it's essentially free money to trade with. Whether you want to trade XRP, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, Bitcoin, etc., you can do that. Check this post out. This account right here, Gordon, Altcoin Gordon, said he had lunch with his friend who's a high up at BlackRock. He said the majority of his clients who have a $50 million net worth and above have been increasingly interested in crypto. Apparently there is some huge news coming regarding XRP, and then he says, we'll let you know when I hear more. Now, this guy's actually made some pretty good calls recently. He has about 746,000 subscribers. And the big news that's coming for XRP is this lawsuit closure, and that's the next major bullish catalyst. But if we look at the chart right now, with XRP transitioning from yellow to light green in the Bitcoin stock to flow phase, well, XRP isn't breaking out as much as some other altcoins, sitting at $2.24, and it's still in a technical downtrend, putting in a lower high from the 28th of April. Now, if we pair up the chart compared back to the 2017 bull run, when XRP transitioned from yellow, we saw this sell off from 19 cents all the way back down to about 14 cents at the bottom of the screen within this zone of support, whereas XRP at the top of the screen in the current market cycle hasn't sold off to about $2 to $1.80. Like I said in my previous video, it's come relatively close to about $2.08. And as you guys know, the price doesn't need to move exactly to a price target or a price level of support. It's a zone. Whereas you can see XRP wicked at back here on the 10th of December, wicked at right here on the 20th of December. It even wicked below it on the 3rd of February, but then wicked right in the zone on roughly the 20th of February, the 11th of March, dropped below it right here on the 8th of April. So anywhere between like $1.60, to like where we're at right now, a little bit lower, $2.10, is relative for XRP. So if Bitcoin's price experiences a pullback, I would expect XRP to experience a pullback still before experiencing a breakout to the upside. Otherwise, XRP is just going to continue to range sideways. Now look back here when the relative strength index, actually the stochastic RSI, reset down below 20 on the 19th of August. That's when XRP bottomed out at around 15 cents right here and then exploded above this descending resistance. And so we have seen a bullish cross below 20 on the top of the screen for the stochastic RSI. And now the K line's at 28, the D line's at 13. So we haven't confirmed this bullish cross back above 20, but this is actually a good sign that XRP is actually relatively close to a breakout of this descending resistance. Now, whether we break through this descending resistance at about $2.50 or get rejected from it, we will see, but the next zone of resistance is about $3 for XRP. So similar to what happened right here by the 23rd of August on this breakout for XRP, and then XRP came back down and just rid along this descending resistance as support all the way until the end of September, bounced off of it, and then just worked its way through this range before exploding to the upside. I think the next major zone that we need to watch for XRP is $3. So I do think there will be an explosion for XRP because the stochastic RSI has reset back down below 20. We've transitioned from yellow to light green. But I do think it's going to take some time before XRP passes its previous high. And if we measure from roughly 15 cents from August of 2017 to when XRP finally did break out, it did over 2,000%. So that's a 20x. So if we were to see, hypothetically speaking, obviously it's not going to be the exact same, but the same percentage growth for XRP from where we're at right now, that would be about $47. Now, I've given you guys my price prediction for XRP for this bull run cycle, and that's anywhere between $5 to $30. So I do think XRP is going to experience a major move closer to the ISO integration globally by November of this year. And I think we're just going to continue to range until that happens, which gives you actually more time to accumulate XRP, because a lot of people are complaining right now just because they waited until XRP was at $3 to buy it when they had 2 years to accumulate XRP, guys. Measuring from June of 2022 until November, you had 872 days to accumulate XRP. So the fact that you didn't buy any, if you were subscribing to the channel, there's nothing that I could do to help you out. And over the next few months, people are just going to sit there. They're going to watch. And then when XRP starts to break out, they're going to start FOMOing into the hype. And then when XRP peaks out this bull run and we go into a bear market, they're going to be like, I thought XRP was going to $100 or $1,000 this cycle, when they should have just subscribed to the channel and paid attention to what we share on the charts. Now, there will be other opportunities to make money in the crypto market, and our research team will be sharing those with you guys over the next few months, so that way you can be able to capitalize on opportunities before they explode. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.